Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Scared Soldier bringing another Borderlands 3 video, and today's video we got another Zane build for you, and this time it is Mayhem 10 Zane. Yes, this is an actually super powerful build, so definitely give this a try, guys. Don't be scared. It could look scary, you're gonna see why possibly, but believe me, guys, I tried it quite a bit and it absolutely shreds, so have no fear. But let's get into it real quick. So the guns you're gonna want to have is the OPQ system. And the anointment you're going to want to have is while under 50% health, deal 150% bonus damage. The reason being I chose this anointment for this build is because 100% cryo sentinel damage goes a long way, but now it's 150% elemental damage. So that hits so hard, guys, that I definitely was trying to make a build with this, and this is what we came up with. So again, you're going to see that on multiple guns. The other gun you're going to want to carry is Yellow Cake. This one is obviously such a super good rocket launcher in the game, and it hits extremely hard, and we have the same anointment on this one as well. Then these two slots here, I'm missing a bit of gear. Actually, I would have liked a redistributor, a cryo redistributor, because cryo is super nice versus armor and also health. And in complement, the radiation is very good against shield and health. So the two complement each other very well, but this is what we have so far. But ideally, you want a cryo weapon like this, for example, with this anointment. I would like a redistributor. That will come soon, but nonetheless, that's the anointment you want to have. But as long as you have these two guns, this build will absolutely fry, so no worries about that. Now the shield you're going to have is the front loader. This is what makes this build possible, because this will consume and reserve 60% of our health and return it as shields. So therefore we will only have 40% health remaining, and that is going to allow us to constantly use this anointment right here. And the anointment we have on the shield is the ASC, and I think that is one of actually the second best anointments you can have on this shield. The best one I would like somebody of you guys to have is the sliding. While sliding, you can charge up energy that will refill your shields, so that's another way to refill your shield. So look out for that anointment, guys. But nonetheless, the ASC is really nice as well, because you're going to be doing a lot of damage, and you're going to see how we're going to do more damage in a second. The grenade I want you guys to have is the generator transfusion frag grenade, or any grenade that heals shields for a 30 to 60% of shield damage dealt. The one I have has 30%, but there are some exist that can heal up to 60% of your shields damage dealt. And again, with the anointment here, you're going to be looking for this anointment right here on the shield, preferably, because this is going to boost the damage of your grenade. And what that's going to do is, because it's based on damage dealt, you'll be dealing more damage with your grenade, therefore even more shield regen, which is going to be super important to keep yourself alive, since Zane doesn't really have a lot of regenning of his shield capabilities in his skill tree. But nonetheless, that is a really nice grenade to have. Next, we have the Snowdrift, and the reason we are using the Snowdrift is to escape and also do a lot of damage against bosses, to slide and shoot at bosses to do maximum damage to them. You can also throw on the Icebreaker Victory Rush on this as well, but like I said, we don't have a lot of cryo weapons on us, even though that would be our preference. So for this, the way I was using it, I was using more of a Snowdrift, since we wouldn't benefit from an Icebreaker, but preferably you would want cryo weapons up here with the radiation anointment, and then you would have an Icebreaker Victory Rush here. But since I don't have too many cryo weapons at the moment, I decided to have a Snowdrift that works very well. And then obviously we are using the Seeing Dead class mod, pretty self-explanatory, one of the best class mods in the game for Zane. Now let's go into the skill tree where it gets exciting. So we do not have the Sentinel on this build. We want to kind of stray away from the meta, because it kind of gets a little boring. I wanted to create something new. So what we did here was we decided to go into the man tree nonetheless, because we wanted some DPS. So we put 5 into violent speed, violent momentum. This is going to give us some more gun damage. Then we put 3 into cool hand. This 3 points is when you're going to start noticing an actual noticeable difference. So 3 points is nice. We put 5 points into salvation, because we will need it, and you're going to see why. Death follows close. This is going to increase the effectiveness and the duration of all our kill skills. Violent violence is going to give us more fire rate, which means more DPS. Pretty self-explanatory. Playing dirty, this is going to basically give you 100% weapon damage, because it's basically double projectile, which is insane. And then good misfortune, this is what's going to help keep our action skills active while chaining enemies and doing a lot of damage to them, etc. The next tree we have is the double agent tree. We have equipped the clone because the clone, unlike the sentinel, throws way more grenades than the sentinel, and we need those grenades to be thrown quite often because we want our shield to get regened as fast as possible, and the clone is the best person to do so. And also we have Synchronicity Donnybrook for more gun damage because we did not want to lack on gun damage for this build. We have 4 points into Borrowed Time and then 1 into Pocket Full of Grenades. This one's debatable, but again, I felt like my clone was shooting a lot of grenades out in one life, so I want to get a bit of grenade regeneration because grenades are what's going to keep my shield full. Last tree over here, we have the Undercover tree. Now you're going to look at this thing kind of weird because it's not a traditional Zane green tree, but the reason why we have this the way it is because, first of all, ready for action, we need something to boost our shield recharge rate and delay because we don't want to wait forever for our shield to come back, since that is going to be our main health line. And we put Hardy Stock because this is going to increase the max shield capacity, which means that it's going to be a little more tanky, our shield. We put Stiff Upper Lip because this is going to give us a little bit of damage resistance. It's not a lot, but it's enough to keep us a little more tanky. And then Confident Competence, this is going to give us up to 35% gun damage based on how full our shields are. And like I said, so the reason I did not spec into Brain Freeze, although this would be actually also very good, is because I was not using the Icebreaker for when I was using this build. But if you guys do have a Cryo Redistributor with this anointment, with the radiation anointment, go ahead and throw on 5 points into Brain Freeze and 5 points into Ready for Action. Because I don't have cryo weapons with that radiation anointment yet, I'd put 3 points on a Hardy Stock and 2 points at Step Upper Lip, and I've been loving it actually. I haven't really been missing Brain Freeze too much. So nonetheless, that's what we have. We have the barrier equipped with the all-rounder because we definitely need this to keep us alive, and they recently just patched this so the projectiles and things like that do not go through your barrier no more, so you're really pretty comfy sitting in your barrier, taking as minimal damage as possible. And then Natty's or Sunshine is actually pretty clutch because it boosts your shield recharge delay up by minus 33%. So when you pick up your barrier, you get a little boost real quick, and obviously it's nice to get that boost if ever you need. You can just drop your shield down, sit in your barrier if ever, but honestly you never really have to do that. But yeah, so that's how the skill tree is all set up. Here's my Guardian rank for those who want to know. It's 485, and then we have the Mayhem over here, Mayhem 10. The roles I got this time was Rogue Light. That one's not terrible. It kind of gets annoying sometimes because we're doing a lot of splash damage. Sometimes I kill myself. But other than that, it's actually a pretty decent one for a very hard modifier. More Than Okay Boomer is very, very tolerable. I actually really don't mind it at all. High Voltage is cool because we're not really affected by enemies being immune to shock since we're using radiation, cryo, and things of that nature. And then Pool Party, enemies drop corrosive shocker in certain pools. That kind of gets annoying, to be very honest with you, all the elemental puddles. But again, we're moving really fast. We're sliding out of the action with Zane. Zane's a very fast character, so nonetheless, we can deal with things like that. But there you go, guys. Now I'll show you a bit of some gameplay of the build, explain a couple things, and then we will get out of here. So I'll see you over there. So guys, we are over in the event and we are at the villa. So what I wanted to go over quickly was why we had 5 points into salvation. Now the first reason being is because if you guys see, I have about a 35,000 capacity on the shield and I have a 6,000 health capacity. Now, when the shield obviously goes down, which it doesn't happen very often with the combination of the all-rounder, my clone throwing grenades to give me that shield regeneration, I never really lose my shield very often. But God forbid it ever happens because we just take a huge amount of damage for whatever reason. Having 5 points in salvation, having 6,000 health actually gives me still the ability to stay alive, and as long as I'm shooting enemies, of course. So that is why we have 5 points, because our life will be fighting super hard as long as we're shooting against enemies. 1 point will not be nearly enough for keeping you alive if ever your shield does go down. We were just planning for the future because, again, Mayhem 10 can be a little tougher depending on your modifiers. There's a lot going on and stuff like that. You can be taking damage from all over the place. So I just wanted to make this build survivability very, very optimal as much as I could. So I hope that makes it a little more clear for you guys. Again, so the reason, as you guys see, the clone is amazing too because he throws out a whole bunch of grenades. So basically when you call your clone in, he throws one free grenade for you, and if he dies, he also drops a grenade before he dies, which is pretty insane. So at the minimum of his duration, which is about 14 seconds, his total duration, he is throwing at least 2 grenades, whereas the Sentinel would only throw 1. Now with the Fractal Frag's anointment, if you kill an enemy, he will throw another grenade. So in the span of his 14-second duration, he will throw anywhere from 2 to 5 grenades easily, guys. So that's why we spec'd into 1 point into the grenade regeneration. So with that being said, with the grenade regeneration, I'm going to show you guys right here real quick. You just saw how my clone just threw out a grenade as soon as he spawned in. And because we're killing enemies so efficiently, Fractal Frags acts really well for us because it allows our clone to have a high chance to throw another grenade once we kill an enemy. So he's throwing constant grenades for us, which is something the Sentinel wouldn't do. It only throws 1 grenade every 15 seconds, and that wouldn't be enough to get our optimal amount of shield regen. So that is why we chose the clone. Not only that, the clone is also a great utility because he can proc ASC action skill ends on demand. Whenever you want, you just pull out your double banger, kill him off, and you can do another 100% extra elemental damage. You can also obviously teleport, so you can go and slide shoot Grave Ward, teleport back to your position. For mobbing scenarios, of course, if you're in a lot of danger, swap back out and get out of there. It's really, really nice how he works, and he also takes off aggro from Zane by just his presence. So that's another benefit of the clone. So if you guys haven't noticed, we're doing a hell of a lot of damage with this build. Of course, that radiation just goes crazy for us, and you see that we're surviving really well. This is again Joey Ultraviolet's fight right here, and you see we're having no trouble at all staying alive and keeping our shields full with the all-rounder. The one thing I have to say though is if we had a redistributor, it would make this build even better because we would be able to keep our barrier up the whole duration of the fights. But unfortunately, we have to farm for that since this is still new. We've been farming for a lot of other gear. But nonetheless, guys, that's pretty much it. So with that being said, guys, if you like this build and are going to try out for yourself, definitely smash that like button for your boy and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss another video. A little hint, you might be seeing a Mo's build soon, so I would definitely stick around for that if I were you guys. Nonetheless, guys, this is the Mayhem 10 Zane build. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. It's your boy Scared Soldier signing out.